with liberty and justice for all.
Randy, if you can go pull the agenda up, appreciate it, sir.
All right. About a roll call, Denise.
Mr. Earhart. Tammy Blank.
Here.
Linda Brode. Present. Julia Chamarki Kukrow. Mr. Harley.
Yep.
Mr. Carr.
Present.
Dr. Rig. Here. Dr. Schaefer. Mr. Schroeder.
Here. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all for coming out this evening. I do not have a board president message, and at this point, nobody signed up for public comment. Do we have our SGA rep? here?
Nope, I excuse them for tonight because tonight's a special board meeting. They were planning to come next week, so
That's not a problem.
Call me, sir.
All right, well, then you're up, Mike.
Thank you, sir. First thing I sent out to our families here late this afternoon was information about IUP's dual enrollment program. There will be an event at the Indiana Area High School tomorrow on October 5th, Wednesday, from 6 to 7. It's another good partnership. We're just trying to build and strengthen that collaboration with IUP, but more importantly, provide some access and opportunity to our kids through dual enrollment at a much reduced cost. So that's happening on Wednesday, October 5th. Our families were made aware about that. Later on tonight, sir, not necessarily part of this report, but we are going to talk to Mr. Harley's committee meeting about rolling out dual enrollment now down to 10th grade. I have a meeting with Mr. McElhaney. Him and I discussed this, and Mr. Heinrich and Mr. Zahorchek, they're in support of making some 10th grade offerings available.
Did you say rolling it out for 10th grade?
Yes, they're
Not
rolling it down
ruling
right now.
out.
Yeah. Right now, it's only available for 11th to 12th grader. We want to expand access now to 10th grade. We're going to talk about that in Mr. Harley's committee meeting. To me, I'm in full support of it. It makes sense. IUP has been very good neighbors as far as working together on this, and I think we should fully support it. And we also got some feedback from some of the parents that, hey, why aren't we doing this? And when we look at it, there's no reason why we can't. As long as they're ready and there's some safety nets in place there, they should have access. So that's something we'll talk at Mr. Harley's committee meeting about later this evening. But nonetheless, the dual enrollment program opportunity is available, and there will be an event on October 5th.
Thank you, Mike.
This week started universal free breakfast. So those kids, families who want to take advantage of that can. The only thing that I'll issue, not a word of caution, but a reminder is we'll still need families to complete the free and/or reduced lunch application. That's important not only for our data, but allowing people to still qualify for the free breakfast. That's one of the disclaimers and requirement that the department has put down upon us. So we'll do that. And we had our Salute to Heroes game on September 23rd. It was probably one of the coolest events I was at. When I saw that helicopter come in and leave, it left right across the field. It was pretty cool, pretty surreal for the kids to see that. And the kids did a great job organizing. Mr. Rowan did a great job as well. And it's really nice to see our community come out and honor the veterans. We had about a dozen or two veterans who showed up. So it's something we're going to continue to work on and improve. But another thing we did well, we raised a couple $100 for our charities. So we're quite proud of the work the kids and Mr. Rowan did. It was just a really great night. We're continuing to work together on We Are Better Together shirts. They've been worn on Fridays. We're really proud of that. On October 22nd, we have IUP Youth Football Day. That's scheduled. So information in my newsletter is included for families about that. I hope they can come out and support the Crimson Hawks. And just another reminder, we have a rally point drills here scheduled for late October. I'm being redundant intentionally on this. We already notified families the last time we talked, but I just want to keep the conversation going so people are aware these drills are occurring. Now, we're not going to disclose the time, the place, and the exact date, but for safety purposes, but we are working with our first responders to make sure they're part of the drills. And today was the first day of our after-school program that started due to the great leadership and work of the IU in collaboration with Justin and Rob and the team here in Indiana. Not the turnout we are wanting, but small steps. We're going to keep building it. We're going to keep working towards it. And nonetheless, I'm okay if only 50 kids right now are getting some after-school programming. We want to take some time to build it, market it, and try to get more kids to come. But right now, it's a step in the right direction. So we're proud of that, sir. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Okay, thank you. I don't see Mr. Rapak. I don't think he's online either.
No, sir.
Okay, so there are no presentations. May I have a motion to approve the minutes and the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Questions, comments, or discussion on the agenda or the minutes? Nothing heard. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, we had a meeting of the ICTC here last week. There are several new hires. IU 13 is putting a program together on organ and tissue donation awareness. And there's a grant which I believe the ICTC is applying for. There were also some standard budget transfers similar to what we've done. And there's also further development of the procurement card program. Apparently they've got a charge card to Visa, MasterCard, what have you. And they started, I believe, last year, and now they're updating that program and making some improvements on it. We've also added some, changed some limits and restrictions. Mr. McDermott reported that the total enrollment for this year was 514 students. Anytime it's over 500, that's something I think we need to cheer about. And that the school year was off to a good start. There's also the pre-nocting for seniors will begin shortly. The NOCTI tests are kind of the standard tests that the students are judged by. And so what they do is they take a test in the early fall, the seniors do, to kind of give them a benchmark and where they need to improve and what they need to do in order to, by the end of the school year, pass that NOCTI test. So that will be starting shortly. And there were various donations of supplies and small equipment. There's also an executive session, which I've copied the board on, but that is confidential information. Okay, IU 28. Since Tammy's here, are we flipping a coin between Sue and Tammy? Or
she was able to go, and I think.
I have a report ready.
Okay, great.
I attended the last meeting on September 20th. Hired paraprofessionals, a long-term sub-occupational therapist, licensed professional counselor, and a full-time permanent substitute. Accepted resignations of paraprofessional subs and family educator. Approved 2 volunteers and an IUP student teacher. 1 speech language clinician was granted tenure. Approved travel requests to attend the National Association for the Education of Homeless Children. Approved several agreements with IU 8, several school districts, consultants, and transportation providers, and authorized the board secretary to cast a vote for the PSBA candidates.
Okay, Sue, thank you.
And Ms. Blank, will you be going back in October? Or
Yeah.
Would you like me to? You'll be back. Okay.
Outreach, Tammy.
I'll let Mike.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Blank. During our committee, we talked about the website, the safety page that we made a new portion of our website dedicated to safety. The board gave some feedback. As you could tell, if you go to the district website, those changes have been made where it's readily accessible right off the main landing page. The board asked for that to be right there front and center. We've done that. We also talked and showcased the Performing Arts website. As you know, the content's very sparse. It doesn't have much information at this point, but that's by design. We wanted to roll it out. Training will occur on October 10th, Monday, for those departments to start building out the website. 21st Century Grant, we talked about the progress we're making where that and our outreach in that area. We also discussed the Excellence in Education Award that's happening through the Chamber of Commerce, as well as Cologne and Motormart, and what we're doing there, what that looks like in general, and how we're going to communicate. We talked about the Salute to Heroes game, which I mentioned in my report. We also talked about Unity Week. That's a community initiative led by Misty Noko that go out there and help as bullying prevention. We're going to have some students tonight from the junior high presenting what they're actually doing during the academic committee meeting. And I think that's important as the board and committee at that time discussed about the need for students to get involved. So they'll be discussing that. We also, again, talked about rally point drills. And again, that's done intentionally. So parents can't say they didn't know or weren't informed. We want to make sure the board's aware of the work we're doing in the area of school safety. And then we also talked about IUP collaboration, what we're doing in the area with athletics and extracurriculars and academic programming. We discussed the Football Youth Day, which I mentioned during my report, which will be on October 22nd. Education Day, we're excited to get back to as part of women's basketball and here in the fall or winter. And then possible baseball partnerships with the new head coach there in baseball, what we can do there to just give kids some hope and opportunity, some access to some post-secondary programming. And that's by design. As principals, administrators, we believe the more they're surrounded by success, post-secondary access around college atmosphere, the more likely they are to understand what the qualities and traits and characteristics of someone who is successful at that level takes. So, and I think that summarizes everything we did, Ms. Blank.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thanks, Mike and Tammy. Tom, academic and extracurricular.
We will have a meeting following this one, so hang around. So that's a report on that. We have 5-2 through. That's it. And then I have, in addition, so I have 5-2 is conference request, 5-3 is ambulance service, 5-4 is the field trip request, and 5-5 is service agreement. Can I take those all at once? Any-
There's an addendum, if I can speak to those addendums once you get the second motion.
Yeah, I included the-
Yeah, I found Mr. President, what he was looking for.
Yeah, so Tom made the motion. Did I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Tammy second. Okay, and there's an addendum for the academic.
Yep, there's two of them. Overnight field trip, the girls soccer team made the playoffs.
No,
Or,
no,
not
it's
soccer
the
team,
golf.
girls golf
How
team.
about, try it again. The boys, it's the boys golf.
Oh, the boy, this is the one of the golf teams. Made the playoffs. I got an email frantically on Sunday saying, look, can we approve it? We usually don't do this for athletics, but when I look at our board policy, it does say any field trips or extracurriculars. So I just like the board to be aware of it and like you're supporting this. There's no cost to the district. The boosters are taking up the cost. I think it's a great opportunity for our kids. Like to make sure you're aware of it though, because kids would be out. Now, if you say, Mike, why don't they just go next day? With the time the matches start, they'd miss school whole day anyway. So this saves them waking up too early to be able to go at night. So that makes sense to me. And the other one I believe is for Charlie.
Service agreement with Family Counseling Center.
Yes. So as you know, we talked greatly about the need for how, I'll just be very blunt, Justin, you can correct me wrong. Some of the placements that we put, outside placements we put kids now are picking and choosing which kids they serve. And their spots are getting filled. So this will allow us now another opportunity to get some hope, get some access to these kids who need an outside placement. It's another partnership that Justin came about, brought it to me today. I think it's of small value as far as cost wise, but it just came to us today. And it's going to really help some kids get the help they need. So we ask you for support. Justin, anything I misspoke about?
No, this one is it's a partial hospitalization program and it's located in Leechburg. So if for some reason Alpha would be full in our area, that at least provides another option. So at this point, there are no current students in the program. There is a potential that we could have students that would attend this program. Really would not be a whole lot different cost-wise than what Alpha is outside of that, the transportation, but it does provide another option in case Alpha is full.
And that's case by case basis.
Case by
Yes,
case.
yes, ma'am.
I would also like to point out that the girls tennis team is undefeated and has won sections. So they'll be moving on to the girls too.
That's awesome. So this is basically to continue having kids go to Alpha School.
It's yeah,
If
and
there's a
it
need.
also provides an additional option in Leechburg if Alpha was full.
So right now we have two that we usually work with, local, Alpha and Adelphi.
Mhm.
Some of them get full, there's a waiting list, or some kids can't just get in. And this is another option.
And there are also times where, let's say if a student goes to a full-time hospitalization program and they make a recommendation that a child goes to a partial hospitalization program, if that happens and our program is full, we have to come up with another option.
Right.
So this is the backstop.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
I have a question about number 5.2.
Okay, go.
How did we come up with the 357.75 as an upper limit for the cost for the substitute?
Daily sub rate times
Daily-
3.
There you
It's
go.
a daily sub rate times the 3 days she's going to be out.
Okay, so that's close to 360, which is 120 a day, which
That
has not been approved until maybe this evening.
No, that's the total cost. That includes like all the social security, the taxes, everything. That's what we
At the
pay
current rate.
Kelly Services.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
That was the only question.
Any other
Really glad
questions?
you're here today.
Any other questions, comments, or discussion on 5-2 through 5?
5.
Okay, nothing heard. All those in favor of approving motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's carried. Okay. Looks like Cindy, you're up with policy and personnel.
Okay. We don't have a committee meeting report because we haven't met yet. That'll be coming up soon. I've got a bunch of motions that I'd like to take as consent items. The first one is computer mediated instructors. We have 8 instructors who will be given extra duty, extra pay positions for computer mediation. And a list of names will be made available for the press. We have a leave of absence request. We have a resignation of a paraeducator. We have an extra duty, extra pay assignment for the boys basketball coach. That would be Joe Lakaitis. We have employment of support staff that we will be employing Madison Kirk as an LPN. And the next employment of support staff is 2 paraeducators, Emily Briggs and Danielle Fair.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded for items 6.2 through 6.6. Questions, comments, or discussion on those?
The boys basketball coach is junior high.
Yeah, I didn't say that, sorry.
Okay, anything else? Mike, anything you want to add to it?
No, I'm grateful that we found an LPN. I will say that publicly. It's been, as you know, a task, and we didn't start off very strong. Several people applied. No one showed up for interviews. So we were nervous. We were scared, but I'm asking you, I'll beg you to approve that motion so we have someone there.
All right, based on that recommendation, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion's carried. Terry, buildings and grounds.
Yeah, no committee meeting report. We have the next meeting October 17th. Eisenhower update. We met again last Thursday from 9 till nearly 1 o'clock. Again, chipping away at different things. We also talked about the old East Pike office here, and that motion is on the agenda. We do have another meeting this Thursday from 9 to 12 for Eisenhower design to just keep that moving. So, and the one probably thing to talk about a little bit is that, you know, we're behind schedule in our design development, which is going to push the award back, which is definitely going to impact when that project is done. So once we get that schedule revised, you know, we can talk about that a little more in detail.
Do you have an estimate as to how far back it's going to push it? A month, 2 months?
It's at least a couple of months. We didn't even get into that detail. We're looking at possibly, if things go right, awarding it the end of April, early May, I think is what we're shooting for. So.
Okay.
That only gives us really 14 months to hit the fall of 24,
Okay,
and that's going to be difficult.
do your best, Terry. I know you
Yeah.
will.
So 7.3 is the East Pike renovation bids. We've been working on this for probably over the past year. So that based on the recommendation of the Building Grounds Transportation Committee and Bucart Warren Architects, the board authorizes the administration to release and advertise for bids for the East Pike Old Office renovation project and new HVAC system for the administration wing based on the work of the committee over the past year.
Second.
Okay, moved in second. Questions or comments or discussion on 7.3? Nothing heard. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Julia's not here. Terry, you or Cinda want to take the finance?
Sure. No committee meeting report. The 8.2, 8.3, I'm okay with taking them all together and then we can just talk about them.
Second.
Okay, 8.2 is the approval of bills. 8.3 is a donation of 2 mini refrigerators to the senior high athletic department. 8.4 is a big motion based on a capital reserve transfer of 1.295 million into our general fund, and then authorizing the administration to increase the daily substitute rate as proposed. So,
Okay,
Into the capital reserve fund.
yes. Kudos to everyone, the board, the admin, Jared and his team, for ending last state fiscal year with a surplus. So that's allowing us now to put another 1.25 million into that general fund, to the capital reserve fund, I mean. And the substitute rate, was that going to be discussed to?
Yep. So did you have a second? I'm sorry.
Yes.
no,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, we should really decide what the board wants to do. If I can, Mr. Kerr, can I interject for a minute?
Yes.
We talked to our third-party service provider, Kelly Services, and we were looking at our fill rates, and we just tried to dig a little deeper and try to ascertain what's going on with some of these positions not being filled. And the one thing that kept coming up in our conversations to him was, look, other schools are paying more. So as you know, I sent you a video, gave you two options, either increase the rate to whatever you see fit, or do another scaled rate. And I gave you two options, and I'd like to maybe discuss, see what the board chooses. In my opinion, would probably be something of the one where there's a scale where you have to show up so many days to get some of those bonuses, but it's completely up to the board. At this point, it has not precluded us from staying open, but it's getting much harder every day to find subs when locally we're all in an arms race for subs right now. So I'd ask for some discussion about which option the board wants to choose, if any, and what that rate would be, sir.
And we already have that increased rate scale currently. We're just upping it.
If the board would be okay with that, yes, because it's just getting harder and harder to find subs.
Thought that bonus for working multiple days a month was because of COVID. And COVID is pretty much gone. So are we still considering doing that? Yeah.
Can I object to the pretty much gone thing? I just want to say. Pretty much.
Not quite going yet.
I know, I'm, but I don't think that we should continue. I don't think we should have a sliding scale. I think we should go to a decent
Okay.
daily amount. And, that can be discussed, but I don't know that that's going to really do anything. It's going to make things more complicated.
Yep.
So, I don't.
It'll help us, whatever one you decide, it's going to help us.
If I can comment
Just
on
my
that too.
opinion.
I agree with you, Cindy, on that. What I'm afraid of, if we advertise for a substitute and they don't see that rate,
Yeah,
we're not gonna get the applications.
that's true. Yep.
Especially if Oklahoma City or Purchase
Yep.
Line or somebody has a higher rate than us, they're gonna go there first because they're not gonna care about the scale.
They may not even look.
Right.
Keep reading. They may see that first.
See the rate and say, no, I'd rather soon get it up there where we can compete with the other school districts.
Yeah.
I think that's where we should be.
I
at.
agree.
What would that number be? What would the board feel comfortable with? Right now, we know we're at 90, and we have a range anywhere between 100 to 125 throughout the county. What number would you feel most comfortable with? In my notes to you, I stated 120. It was just for conversation. You don't have to go there, but that's what I was just recommending.
I would say 120, 125 at least.
120 is $15 an hour. That's,
With the amount of shortages that are going on in healthcare and education, we just can't blink.
It's only going to get more difficult.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing we're going to need them for. Don't just think about the illness. Our job is to continuously develop our staff too. And those professional days are important, and it's just getting harder and harder to do that.
Yeah.
And now we're taking away from other Act 80-day assignments. So it's just getting harder. And I know it sounds melodramatic, but it's true. And I think that shortage is everywhere. So if the board can support 120,
We're good. I
I
think
can
we're good.
support it.
I'll make that motion if you need a motion.
I think it's already in there.
Yeah, it's 8.5. I think, so the way the motion reads, it's daily substitute as proposed. So Mike, what is the actual proposal number?
based on the feedback I got, it'd be $120 per day.
Okay, so let's change that motion
Can
to
do a
read
friendly amendment.
that the board authorized administrative daily substitute rate of $120 a day so that there's no confusion there.
I'm okay.
You good with that?
I'm-
And you seconded it, Tammy, the
Yes.
whole
I'll
caboodle
second
there.
it, yeah.
Okay,
Well, but
Yes.
before you vote, this is not this, but it's on the same general thing. There's another very large job fair that's being held sometime the end of the month.
I thought it was October 11th, that was not.
I thought it was like the 22nd.
Double
Okay,
check.
well, in either case, there are supposed to be over 50 employers there. Diamond's going to be there, the hospital's going to be there. I still think that the district should have some kind of a presence. We won't get substitutes. I don't know if Kelly Services will be there or not, but, we won't be able to get substitutes. We might be able to find some or LPNs. We might be able to find some custodial staff. We might be able to find some clerical staff. We do have positions that, are not the professional positions that, we couldn't find a teacher for sure.
you might,
Just,
you
I
might
think
find
it's
a
something
bus
we ought to
driver or
think about.
somebody with a CDL that you could get trained for the bus driver.
It's October 13th from 10 to 2 at the mall.
Okay, we can
Okay.
do that. We can have presents.
That's the one that Diamond is?
Yeah,
Okay,
Diamond,
all right.
presented by Diamond Pharmacy
Yeah.
Services and Renda Media.
We'll
I
have
took a
presents.
picture of it when I was looking at it online.
Diamond's
idea.
having their own, I think, recruiting
Yeah, they're gonna be
at
recruiting.
Rustic Lodge,
Yeah, they're having a
different
big
date.
private one. Maybe that's the one that's 22nd. I
I
thought there was
don't
something
know,
else.
but they advertise it on the radio
Right,
today that at the Rustic Lodge, they're having their own in-house, strictly just for Diamond.
right.
So
They've got-
contact.
Oh, it was on WCCS website, and I.
Where's Josh when you need him?
There you go. Pat, you can straighten Josh out for us.
If I run into,
Yeah.
if we don't till tomorrow night, probably.
All right. So any other discussion on this?
Good idea.
Nothing heard. All those in favor of 8.2 through 8.5, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion's carried. Okay, there are no discussion items. Is there any public comment on agenda items? Nothing heard. We had some conference resumes. We had student activity reports from the junior and senior high. Our next regular board meeting is scheduled for October the 10th, next Monday at 7 p.m. However, Mike, please stand by on that because I think Mike is trying, since we had this meeting and covered a lot of the material tonight, we may or may not have that meeting. Is that correct, Mike?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. Policy and personnel is also next Monday, and buildings and grounds and transportation is the following Monday on October the 17th. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned.